Real talk, raw faith, stay unfiltered. Welcome back to Echoes Unfiltered. I'm your host, Sam Stratton. Now today I have a guest with me who was a Marine. Now this Marine, he said red is his favorite color and flavor. Anyway, his name's Dustin. I am so glad to have him on here with me today. We met on TikTok, and I asked him if he'd like to come on the show. He has some very similar life experiences, went through the same things I did. You know, we both served in Iraq. We both became police officers. So today we're going to hear Dustin's story. So Dustin, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Well, why don't you tell me a little bit about who you are and what made you join the military?
Yeah, I joined when I was 17. Joined the late entry program, and then I think it was about 3 days after I turned 18, I shipped off to boot camp.
Didn't wait long.
Didn't wait long at all. Nope.
Was military like a family thing, or is this something you decided you wanted to do?
No, it was just something that I really wanted to do. So I kind of dove in with both feet.
It wasn't a thing you just jumped in and or what year did you join? Let's start there.
Two.
Okay, in 02, and when was your first deployment?
Wow. So I graduated boot camp in June. I graduated infantry school in November, and January got on the USS Comstock and floated over to Kuwait. So about 2 months after I hit the fleet, we were deployed.
Oh, that didn't take long at all.
No.
Because I joined in '94, and there was nothing going on really back then.
Right.
After Desert Storm, and up until we started getting until after 2001, that's when things started happening again.
Right.
Okay, so you went over to Kuwait. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your first deployment? What was your job, and how did it go?
Yeah, I was with 3rd Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion. I was a scout, 0311 rifleman. We hung out in Kuwait until we invaded, and then we started our push north.
What was that like?
As an 18-year-old kid, it was a lot to take in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially coming from were you from Ohio then?
Yeah.
Yeah, coming from Ohio, you know, small town kid. I'm assuming, or well, not even if you're not a small town kid, but small town kid in Ohio, ended up over in a war zone. I know my first time out of the country was Iraq. Well, Kuwait and Iraq, but so yeah, it could be a culture shock.
100%.
So you said you were a rifleman. You pushed north. What was your ultimate goal? Where were you pushing to?
We did a lot of like route reconnaissance for division and holding positions, blocking position. And yeah, we basically did that for 5th and 7th Marine mainly.
5th and 7th Marine?
Yeah, we did a lot of blocking positions. A lot of blocking position and like route reconnaissance for them.
Okay, how long were you deployed in your first go around?
We invaded in March. I think we left mid-June.
Oh, that wasn't too bad then.
No, we got lucky. We got rotated back. A lot of units ended up staying.
And when I was in country, it was for 366 days.
Ugh.
I wasn't counting or anything.
Right.
But yeah, we did the Kuwait thing, and then I pushed to Ramadi. We basically did route clearance all over the Anbar province.
Okay.
My job. And now you said you deployed twice, correct?
I did, yeah.
Okay, and the second deployment, where did that take you?
We were in the Anbar province.
And I know when you and I were chatting, we talked some about HIT.
Yeah.
Because anybody who's been near it knows it smells like what it almost sounds like.
Yep.
And it was a bad area, and it was one of our first missions there. We had pulled in, we were just ripping in, and we heard a bunch of explosions. And we're like, that's a bunch of outgoing firing. I'm worried about that. Well, come to find out, there was no outgoing at that time on HIT. So all that stuff was incoming.
Yeah.
And we had Marines running past us in full kit going, you guys are crazy. We were sitting there smoking and joking, playing the guitar, singing songs. You know, we're done with our mission for the day. We're like, it's all outgoing. Well, later on, we found out there wasn't any, and they started taking the 113s because I guess they had somewhere near there, they had an Iraqi army camp connected to HIT. Is that true or nearby?
When I was there, we just had FOB HIT, and there wasn't any Iraqi bases around. I was there in would have been August of 04 till April of 05.
Okay, so you were right before me because I was there 06, 07.
Mm-hmm.
When we got there in 06, I don't know that there was an Iraqi army base in Hit. I'm not sure because we didn't stay at Hit real often. Just a few times we'd go through there and run missions for them on our way to El Asad.
We stayed at Al Asad, the dam, and Haditha.
I just put out a video
And Hit.
today about
Yeah,
Haditha.
yeah. And we would move between Haditha, Hit, Al Asad, sometimes make it up to Barwana, Hoklania. We were all over that. Yeah. Yeah. Al Baghdadi. Yep.
That was right outside the other side of El Asad.
Yep. Yep.
What was that? What was the blue route that ran into El Asad? Was that uranium?
I think that was bronze. Yeah.
Because I get confused. Like, which one? I mean, it's been almost 20 years.
Oh,
So I sometimes route names just get me a little bit.
right.
Our second platoon was in also in Hit and Haditha and all those places. And I wrote a book about my time in Iraq.
Nice.
I got a picture in this book. I wanted to show you real quick if I can find it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna move on. I got a picture in this book of our other platoon got to Hit, and there's the lake right there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or was that by Haditha? Wasn't there a lake by Haditha?
Well, it's the man-made one.
Yeah, they were all out and decided, hey, let's go swimming. So they went down there and they were out swimming around until the Marines came out and they were like, you guys can't be out here like that.
Yeah.
But just trying to get a day away, a day to break up the monotony of life. Now, I know when I first got to Iraq, and I'm not afraid to admit it now. I didn't admit it then because I was a staff sergeant. I was a squad leader. There was 10 guys in my squad, and I did not want to show weakness to these men. But I was scared out of my mind.
Sure.
And when we first got there, I'm like, I don't know how I can do this for a year. I am so stinking scared out of my mind. I don't know how I can do it. What was your experience like when you got there?
The first time, my first deployment, I was young, super motivated, was wanting to get in all kinds of stuff. And we did, and it was all good. The second time around, the IED threat was huge. And that was a game changer. We did a lot of route security, bronze, uranium, the BU split, and the IEDs are off the chain.
Yeah. Now I know we just talked about it too. Is the blue route was bronze or uranium? Either way,
I believe it was bronze.
Okay, so bronze. Let's just say it was bronze. Nobody knows anyway, unless they were there.
Right.
So I know going down bronze on my birthday, January 26, 2007. We were heading into Al Asad, and it's supposed to be a safe route. I mean, there's not supposed to be anybody but our allied forces on that route. Well, I got the Husky driving by. All of a sudden, boom! And I see his tire go flying out in the desert, and I'm like, well, found one.
Right.
But yeah, they were seeding out there too. But we were in and like I said, 06, 07, and Ramadi was popping off back then.
Yeah, I didn't spend any time in Ramadi other than passing through.
You didn't miss anything.
No, not from what I've heard.
No. One thing I hear a lot of, and it was crazy for me because in Ramadi, I thought we had great food. I mean, the chow hall was awesome, and just like Al Asad, there was good food at Al Asad too. But I remember being in Ramadi for like a week or so and getting used to how they feed you. You can get whatever you want. And I got to Hit, and when the military serving chow, it's not going to be as good. They're like, one meat, one starch, one just put on what I can have, and I'll move along.
Right.
But you could tell a lot of the FOBs obviously didn't have civilians in there cooking for us, or a lot of the little cops. I mean, a lot of little cops didn't have civilians in there cooking for them. But Ramadi, Al Asad, and stuff, they had good food. And I remember getting to Al Asad the first time and looking and saying, "There's a green bean and a Burger King here." It's just the little pleasures, just the little things in life. So, how long did you spend on Hit? With that, your first deployment was the whole time there?
No, the first deployment was during the invasion.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You told me that.
Yeah, we were there 03 until June. Pretty busy, Connecticut times. Anybody in 3rd LAR will know what the Battle of the 1-8 Northing is. Basically, we were screening forward of the division and got ambushed by what they called a regiment reinforced, and actually even had some tanks coming in on us. And they called in air, popped the tanks. But yeah, it was pretty Connecticut times.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about it because in '03, I mean, the invasion's fresh. They still had an air force and tanks and stuff. I mean, we probably took out their air superiority really quickly.
Yeah,
But by the time I got there, they had, handheld stuff, RPGs, weapons, or recoilless rifles, and IEDs. That's what we were up
yeah,
against.
yeah. This would have been March of '03.
I was supposed to be there during the invasion. We all got stood up. I was reservist in the Army, and we got activated, sent to Fort Drum, and then our mission got canceled because we were supposed to go through. Who was going to let us through? Syria? Turkey? Somebody was going
Turkey,
to let.
probably.
Turkey was probably going to let us through, and at the last minute, they're like, nah. So that's where we were supposed to head in from. So our mission got canceled. Well, instead of sending us home, they sent us down to Fort Hood to do support ops for the year. So that was my first deployment with stateside. It was pretty easy, but that's why we didn't see a lot of the same things you did, because by the time we got there in '06, we had complete air superiority. And again, they had no heavy equipment that we saw. What kind of IEDs were you dealing with? I'm assuming you didn't really deal with hardly any on your first deployment because I didn't think they were real popular
None.
then. Okay, and then your second
No, it was
deployment.
just small arms, RPGs,
Okay,
stuff like that. Indirect fire.
okay, yeah, hit. We got people trying to draw us in there one time. We were going through and we had found 5 120s rounds buried.
Yep.
And actually I have a video of that blowing. It's in one of my short videos. But 5 120 rounds that the whole convoy drove over the first time. We didn't find it till the second time, and then
That's a bad day.
yeah, yeah. Well, and I asked the EOD guy because we were brand new. We had the MRAPs, but we were brand new, and I'm like, hey, how would my MRAP have handled it? He goes, you wouldn't be here. I was in an RG. He goes, you'd be gone.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's great first week on the job here.
We saw a bunch of daisy chained stuff, and they would also double and triple stack the anti-tank mines, LAVs.
Yeah, LEV. So you could have a problem with the anti-tank mine going off under one of them.
Yeah, we lost I think two vehicles on that deployment. One mine and one from Gray platoon.
Now,
Yeah.
when you were dealing with those with your vehicles, what kind of impact did it have on those? Was it mainly like blowing off tracks? Was it piercing the hull?
The mines would typically just blow tires off and obviously ring everybody's bell.
Yeah.
But my vehicle, we got hit with artillery shell, IED, and it blew a hole clear through the vehicle. Yeah.
I don't know if you ever had to deal with, what are they called? EFPs.
Those weren't a thing.
Oh my gosh, we never.
My second time.
Yeah, we never saw one go off. Never came across one that was more a Shiite thing than a Sunni thing, and we were in a Sunni area because it came out of Iran, I believe, the good ones. And man, those things scared me because number one, they're great at camouflaging stuff, and number two, it goes and it's done. You're done. There's nothing you can do. It go right through everything.
Yeah. Luckily, we didn't run into any of those.
Yeah, good. Yeah, those were a bit scary. And I'm assuming you probably had a similar experience after you did get hit with that IED and you knew you were okay. You probably never felt more alive. I know that's how I felt.
I was still pretty woozy.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but you felt good that, yeah, you're alive. But also, yeah.
I understand what you're saying. It's like, oh crap, but I just cheated death too, so it's kind of cool, but it's also really scary because it could have turned out way differently.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, were you a police officer before you were in Iraq?
No, I didn't become a police officer until I was 30.
Okay.
I'm 42 now.
All right. Yeah, when I became a full-time cop, I was 30 also. I was part-time before that, but I think when I got full-time, I was 30 years old. I don't do it anymore.
I don't blame you.
Well, a couple reasons. Number one, it's not a good job to be in anymore. I mean,
It's not.
You're hated for just for existing.
Yep.
And number two, from my TBIs from the explosions and stuff, I had noticed some memory issues, and I was forgetting things, and I was like FTOing at times, and I was doing a lot of things. So if I called dispatch and said, "Hey, what was that address again?" or "Where was that?" they wouldn't think anything of it because I was a seasoned officer.
Yeah.
But the same thing, had a rookie ask that question, they would have been like, "What? Are you not listening to your radio?"
Right.
And I could see it starting, so I'm like, I need to back away.
Yeah, I kind of also TBI.
Yeah.
Kind of suffer from the same thing, and it makes it difficult. Very.
I mean, I'll even right now doing these interviews, I'll be mid sentence and be like, "What was I saying?"
Yeah.
I got a buddy who's a first sergeant who said when he teaches classes, he'll tell his classes, listen, I have TBI. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of a sentence and I'll just forget where I am, forget what I'm saying. He said, so if I do and just give you a blank stare, just give me a minute. I'll come back around.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. He really helped me out with my memory. Methylene Blue.
I've heard about that.
I ordered this one. I didn't know who to get it from because there's so many rip-off places out there that just sell junk. And who do you go with? I mean, I don't know who's good, who's bad. Well, I like the Hodge twins. And I thought they're not going to sell junk, I don't think. So I got it from them. And even my wife is like, wow, you're remembering things that you never used to remember. I mean, my long-term memory is great. And I'm assuming yours probably is too. It's a short-term stuff that's like, what?
Yes. Yep. No, I've struggled with that for about 15 years now, give or take.
Yeah. It's amazing when, you used to think you had everything just like that. Now you're like,
Yeah.
what was going on? And it's scary as a cop. I mean, because in my apartment, it was a smaller town, so there's only 2 of us on duty.
Oh, wow.
If I forget where I'm going to help out my partner on third shift,
Oh, good.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yes, it wasn't like a huge department. I mean, during the day they had more officers on, but third shift it was usually 2 of us. That was it.
I work for a small city. We're like a 28-man department.
Okay. Yep.
Roughly. Yeah.
I think we were full timers. We had like 11 full timers, then a bunch of part timers that filled in here and there. It was a fun job. I really enjoyed it. I always wanted to be a cop. I had a good time, but just not there anymore. I mean, I feel for you. I feel for you being on the street.
I had a lot of fun when I started. I don't anymore. Just the way things are going, changes, kind of the stuff you touched on. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people want to have court on the street, and that's where the problem starts.
Yes.
If you want to argue, this does not. I used to tell people this is not the place to argue. That's what court's for. The judge doesn't look at you or me any differently.
Yeah, they don't want to hear that though.
No, and it just ends up poorly for all involved. So
yeah.
Okay, so you came back from Iraq, you became a cop, which I think is a pretty common thing. Cops, firefighters, paramedics, just that adrenaline type jobs.
Yeah.
That a lot of soldiers and Marines look for after they're done, because I mean, we spent a year or whatever, however long you were there, dumping adrenaline every day.
Yep.
And now you get home and you're supposed to do paperwork. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's one of the struggles is writing reports. I'll start, and then before I know it, I'm like, what am I doing? It just takes me forever. And I've noticed, like, I don't know if you've seen the same thing, but like, was your testosterone really low?
I never got checked.
You should get it checked.
I've been hearing more and more about that. I'm thinking about it. Will the VA check that stuff?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll go next time I go in for my appointment. I'll
have them check it.
Okay.
Mine was like right at 200.
What's it supposed to be?
400 to 1,000. Yeah. Definitely get it checked.
Do they equate that to something that we were doing in the military?
There's some studies that say yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
All the cortisol that you release, adrenaline dumps, it all kind of adds up. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. When I was just talking about this morning, actually, when I first got to Iraq, I lost so much weight so fast that people thought I was sick. Something was wrong with me. But like you just said, you get over there, that stress and everything, man, it falls off you. Well, it did me anyway. Yep. I called it the Iraq diet.
Yeah, definitely get it checked.
I'm going to actually write that down because, like I just said, I'll forget. You've been a cop since you got back, since you were 30 years old, so about 12 years now?
Yeah.
As a police officer, have you noticed? I just noticed when I got back that there were some higher stress calls that didn't even remotely bother me.
Same way.
Because I'm like, this is nothing compared to what I just got done doing. But then I realized that I'm also becoming complacent as a police officer, and I couldn't be doing that either.
That's the struggle. But it's like you get dispatched to a call, and you're like, this is nothing. Guy with a gun. Okay. Yeah, whatever. We'll deal with it. Not a big deal.
Yeah, it's amazing how your perception changes just of what danger is.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And are you on the SWAT team?
I was. Okay. I'm not anymore.
All right, I was on ours also. So
too old.
Tell me a little bit about that. How did SWAT go?
I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Kind of the same camaraderie as the military, if that makes sense.
You're still with these people that you could live or die next to.
Right. Yeah,
Be able to trust the people next to you.
absolutely.
And I think that's why a lot of veterans have hard times when they get home, because they may have family and stuff that they trust around them, but it's different. It's a different kind of trust. Yeah, and I don't think a lot of guys realize how much they are still struggling because of that. Because they don't have that here. How much they're still struggling with PTSD or
Yeah.
relationships or whatever. I didn't finally really start healing until this last year, and it's been almost 20 years since I was in Iraq. I didn't even know I had a problem.
I didn't get any help till about 5 years ago. So I waited about 15.
Yeah, well, you waited even longer than I did.
Yeah.
I waited a couple before I went in and started talking, and I thought I had it licked. Thought I was good. And then when I started writing that book, and a lot of the memories started coming back, and I mean, because you're talking to your squad mates and your platoon mates, and they're giving you their memory, like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh yeah, oh, check this picture out. Oh yeah, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting at this computer sobbing just about stuff that I had no idea was still pent up. But
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
it's kind of one of the reasons I like doing this. This has been very therapeutic for me, just to sit here and talk to different veterans, to get their stories and find out that, you know what, our stories, a lot of them are very similar.
Yeah.
But we didn't think to call each other and say, hey, how are you doing? I mean, I got a lot of my friends that I was there with that are all in different stages. I mean, there's a few of them that are still in. There's a few that have been out. We just unfortunately had the first one from our company commit suicide a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I'm not trying to say it like it was like he and I were great buddies and we talked. I mean, we didn't. I probably haven't talked to him since we left Iraq, but we lived next to each other for a year. I knew the guy, and it's just like, why?
It still sucks, no matter what.
It just hurts, and that's another big reason for Echoes Unfiltered. I know this sounds cliche, but if I could just save one, if I know just one of them got saved and didn't do the bad thing or make the bad choice, then this is all worth it. It's all worth it to me.
100%.
I think we've lost more veterans to suicide than we had
Killed. Yeah, I think that's a fact.
we fight so hard over there, fight so hard to get home, and we survive that, but we can't survive Tuesday morning. Why?
It's crazy if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. And we've all been there. I mean, for the listeners out there, don't think that us sitting here talking about it like this means that we've got this all figured out. I mean, I know I don't.
No.
I'm guessing Dustin would say the same thing. We're just, one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, man. Put Jesus first and move forward. That's what helped me.
That is one thing I'll give the VA credit for. They've been great with me. I talk to my mental health people, and I think they do a phenomenal job.
I agree. I've had a few people come on here and complain about the VA, and I'm like, I'm sorry you had a bad experience, but I've had a pretty good experience.
I have nothing bad to say about the VA. They have been great for me.
Yep. My shrink listens to this podcast, I think, so I got nothing bad to say.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. No.
We do telehealth visits like this.
Yeah.
And the last time we talked, he sees the mic and the headphones. He's like, "Oh, you got a setup there," and I'm like, "Well," so I kind of told him what I had started.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Really?" He goes, "Well, what's the name of it?" So I think he might have checked it out, might not. But I mean, this is my way to give back.
No, it's pretty cool, man.
Thank you, and it lets me buy some cool new toys. And
I seen your stuff on YouTube, and it looked good, so that's why I reached out. I was like, I think he's going to do good thing. So,
yeah, I'm trying, man. I've told this story before, but I spent most of my life not a reader. I don't care for reading. I'm a good reader. I just don't retain well. And I think it's probably part of the whole PTSD and my brain's always going places. And I had never listened to a podcast ever. And next thing I know, I got this book that I wrote and this podcast that I'm doing. And I'm like, I never saw that coming. But just, God has plans for my path. And, I pray about it every morning, and this is what I'm on, and this is what I'm going to keep doing. We need to let veterans and people that have trauma, whether you're a first responder, a veteran, or whatever, there is freedom, there is healing. It is out there. It is possible to obtain. Don't think that there's no exit, because there is. There's an off ramp if you're stuck.
Yeah, I started watching a bunch of podcasts. Sean Ryan, Mike Ritlin, all them, and I really like what all of you guys are doing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I hope you get as big as Sean Ryan one day. That'd be great. Yeah.
I actually messaged Sean I don't know if he ever saw the message, but I said, "Hey, I want to have you on my show sometime."
I bet he would do it. I think he would do it.
He might. He might. So, all right. People already know my story. I keep telling you my stories. Let's talk more about you.
Okay.
What are some moments in time from Iraq that really stick in your brain?
Oh boy, where do I start? The biggest thing for me was the IEDs. I guess if you haven't been there, you wouldn't know. But I can deal with being shot at because you can shoot back. But when it's just out of nowhere and there's really nothing you can do, for me, that was the worst part. 100%.
Yeah. Yep. I told my wife just today when we were driving on the road. I was driving. I said, "Wow, there's a lot of pot or a lot of manholes on this road."
Yeah.
Because I still don't like driving over manhole covers. Just don't like doing it. I know
I don't blame you.
when I first got back and I was in a squad car on patrol, I'm driving around manhole covers. I was waiting for somebody to call me in as a drunk or something because I'm not staying on my lane. But
And then I think the other thing that stands out for me, and I don't know if this is just me getting old, but the people who say America's is so bad, you've never been to the Middle East or any third world country. We've got it pretty good here. Yeah. And it just kind of blows my mind that people don't realize that.
I think we have it so good here that people feel entitled.
I would agree. Yeah.
I think that's where the issue comes in. A lot of the issues come in.
Yeah. When our poor people have iPhones and are obese, you've got it pretty good. That's the standard we're on, you know? And it baffles me that people think this place is so bad. It's crazy.
Yep. You walk in the grocery store and people are getting all upset because there's a long line. Hey, is there
Right.
groceries in the store? Are you able to go here and buy them and go home without fear of dying?
If that's the worst thing that happens today, so be it.
I tell that to people all the time. Like if my food comes out late or something's wrong, or I say, if this is the worst thing that happens to me today, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, thank you, and they take off.
Absolutely.
Why get mad? It's not gonna fix it. Okay, so Iraq, Anbar, you were mostly over by hit. Did you ever make it out to AQ, Elkheim?
Actually, we started our deployment at Alkine.
Okay, that's by the railroad station, the railroad, right?
Yes. We were there, I'm wanting to say about a month, and we were supposed to stay there our whole deployment.
Was that your first or probably your second deployment that happened?
Second deployment, yeah. Well, about October, and of course, I didn't know this at the time, but they started moving units over toward Fallujah. So we pushed over to Al Assad, hit Haditha to fill that vacuum. And then later on, of course, November, they invaded Fallujah.
Right. Yep.
So it made sense afterwards.
Yeah. The problem after they invaded Fallujah, though, is all those guys that fled Fallujah went to Ramadi.
Yeah,
It was interesting. It was very interesting.
it was.
So, do you feel since you've gotten home that you have a good grasp on the trauma aspect, the traumatic, the post traumatic stress? How are you handling that? And again, anything I'm asking you here, if you don't want to talk about it, you can just say I don't want to talk about it, and I'll cut that part out.
I don't know if I got a good grasp on it, but I do use the VA. I talk to mental health there. It has helped. But again, I don't think that I fully grasped all of it, if that makes sense.
There's a stigma that comes along with anybody who says mental health.
Yeah.
And I think you know about it, I know about it. That's why when we went the first times to talk to somebody about mental health, it was probably kind of scary, but it's a step you need to take.
It was very scary. It was, of course, with my job, so on and so forth. That's kind of
You're worried if they're going to can you if they find out.
yeah, 100%.
I'm with you. But we need to start normalizing, especially men, asking for help.
Yeah,
It's okay to ask for help.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, we were raised by, Vietnam era, which was raised by World War One era, World War Two. I mean, it's just every one of those eras where suck it up, drive on, don't talk about it. That's how you fix it. Just ignore it, shove it down. And now we're realizing that that's probably the most unhealthy thing you could do.
Yeah. That's what I did for 15 years.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're taught. That's what
Yeah.
we're taught survival mode. We need to survive. And when we're in country, survival mode is awesome. That's what you need. But when you bring survival mode back to home and you're sitting around your family and you're in that mode, that's where the issues start. Because it doesn't.
And that's the problem is you don't necessarily know how to get out of that mode. that mode, And
I still, and you probably still, are sit with your back to the wall so you can watch the door, look where all the exits are, scan the room when you walk in, look for threat. I mean, it's just something you're going to do for the rest of your life, especially as a cop and
sure.
a soldier or Marine. Sorry, I know how you Marines get if we call you soldiers. Yeah,
Yeah, we get testy about it.
yeah, a little bit, a little bit. That's okay, understandable. But these are just things in life that I don't think are ever going to leave us. We're going to do,
I don't think so either.
and that's okay to do those things as long as you're not acting on survival mode. Being prepared isn't a bad thing.
No.
Being cognizant of your surroundings isn't a bad thing. As a matter of fact, my wife has gotten a lot better, but for years I'd be like, "Honey, you need to pay attention to what's going on around you. You can't just live life
In the white, just always in the white. Yeah.
green. Whatever you want to, yeah, all the time. They're just on the go and not oblivious to what's around them. And I remember telling my wife one time, I wish I could look at the world through your glasses sometime, but I can't do that anymore.
And the flip side is being in yellow or red all the time isn't good either.
No, no. I think I've finally gotten to, I'll call it the lower part of yellow now. We used to be the higher up to red most of the time, and it felt normal at work when
Yeah.
something was going on, and that's why we were comfortable at work when those things were happening.
And again, like we touched on, stuff happens at work, and I'm just like, this ain't a big deal, guys. Like, it's not the end of the world. We'll handle it. Move on with business.
That's right. And having that outlook is great on the job. It's not great afterwards.
That, and does it breed complacency? I don't know.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, but are you being complacent? Or are you being realistic? I guess it depends on
Yeah, I look at it toward being more realistic.
right. I mean, because we judged problems over there by how they looked. Okay, could that be a VBID? Could that be an ID? Could that be a military age male with a weapon? We judged everything we were dealing with. And over here, as a cop, you can do that sometimes, but you get yelled at for judging.
Yeah, I guess just like being overseas, you can't account for everything. It's dangerous. We still got to do it. I think law enforcement's kind of the same. Like, you can't mitigate every risk. You can't do it. And that's what they want you to do, but it's impossible.
Right. There's variables, people.
Variables. Yes. Yeah. If somebody really wants you, they're going to get you.
Yeah.
Jump out from on a tree, whatever, you know.
Sometimes the cops on stops or whatever else. I'm just like, I mean, the cop did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
That was just bad actors doing bad things.
Yep.
So you said it took you 15 years to go get help.
Yeah.
What kind of things were you noticing after 15 years that you're like, okay, I need to do something?
Well, it wasn't me. It was my ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, look, you need to go get help. And I put it off. I'm like, I'm fine. And then eventually I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of guys that answer that question the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
Ex-wife. And war can ruin marriages for sure. I mean, there's no doubt. Being a cop can ruin marriages. Any
Sure.
stressful type job can do that. Luckily for me, I don't know if it's luckily or not, but I wasn't married when I went over. I've known my wife my whole life, but we didn't even start dating until I came home on leave. So I didn't have that to deal with, but I'm just glad when I got home and we got married the next year and I put her through all that crap that you do because you have post traumatic stress and don't know what's going on.
Right.
Get angry at stupid things and you don't even know why you got angry. But between God and my wife, who stood by my side like hardcore and prayed for me all the time, it all turned out, and it's still turning out. I mean, she could have very easily said, I'm not putting up with this. See you later.
Right.
And I probably wouldn't have faulted her for it because at the time, I would understood why she did it. But the thing is, we need to realize when we go through things like this, we gotta get help. Don't try to do it on your own. Just don't. It's not gonna work.
And it didn't for me either. I probably waited way too long. Hindsight's 2020, I guess.
Well, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
At that time, you don't realize that that's what's happening. You just think, okay, I spent a year in this. This is easy now. I mean, how could they be thinking that something's wrong with me? I'm handling everything great.
Right.
I mean, in our minds, we are.
Right.
Our minds, that's what we got to do, and we're handling it. And unfortunately, we're not.
Yeah.
What would you say to any vets that are back home right now, have been deployed, and are having that feeling, that survival?
They need to reach out, talk to somebody about it.
Yep.
Just as soon as possible.
Yes. I know I've said this before. Don't wait. Don't even wait till this podcast is over. If you're there and you feel like you
Nope.
need to talk to somebody, turn this off and call them. Call the VA.
I agree.
Call whoever. Was it 988 and then press 1 if you're a veteran.
Yep.
We don't need to lose any more veterans. People who are willing to put their life on the line for this country. People who are willing to go overseas and do what many. You're worth it. You're worth something. Don't end it. Just don't.
I agree.
Easier said than done, I understand. But I was talking to a vet the other day, and he said, I don't know that there's very many vets that can say that they haven't considered suicide. I said, really? He said, yeah, I think most, if they were in war, have thought about it. Maybe not come close to it, but have thought about it. And I'm guess after I thought about it for a while, I'm like, you know what? You're probably right.
I agree with that.
When you just feel like there's no other way out, and in your brain, that's it. That's the way out. That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, what normally wouldn't be a viable option suddenly starts looking, palatable. I hate to say that, but I think a lot of guys probably experience that.
Yeah. And I think it's important that we say that, because if you're listening to this and you've thought about taking your life, then you need to get help, and you need to get it now.
Yeah.
It's not worth waiting. It doesn't get better on its own. It only gets better when you bring it into the light, whether that's talking about it to somebody or a doctor or somebody whatever. But you need to start the conversation.
And I think when a lot of guys feel that way, they think that that's not normal. I don't think they're outliers. I think more people feel like that than not.
I think you're absolutely right.
So just keep that in mind.
Do you think people in the public understand the types of things that we went through?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, I think they understand that we went through something, but I don't. And even if you tell them, I don't know that you can describe what that feeling is. I don't know if there's words for it.
I think people don't realize that when you're in fight or flight for months at a time, how much it affects you. Of course, there's studies. I'm not a doctor, but they've said being in that survival mode rewires your brain, basically. Yeah.
I was so against taking any medications, and I don't like being on the ones I'm on now.
I was too.
And until the doctor explained to me this medication, they said, okay, they said, back up. You spent a year of your life with your body dumping adrenaline every day. Now your body can't regulate adrenaline, which is
Nope.
always. I remember at the police department, there was a couple times we were attached to the fire department. I'd go over by the paramedics. I'd be like, "Can you take my blood pressure?" And they'd be like, "What is going on with you?"
Right.
Heart attack. Well, come to find out, I was having anxiety attacks,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know what that was. So it was scary. I'd been to the hospital like 2-3 times thinking I was having a heart attack.
They're very scary.
Yeah. So the pill that the doctor gave me, they said all this does is closes down some of your adrenal receptors. So all that adrenaline that you're dumping doesn't get sucked up and turn you into Mr. Panicky again.
Right.
And it does help, and I want to get off of this stuff, and I tried to get off of it a couple summers ago. It didn't go great.
Kind of the same way. I was always against it. And then the doc was like, look, try it. And I've tried about 4 different ones now. Just kind of tweaking it. But it's better than it was before.
Yeah, for sure. For me too.
Not great, but better.
Yeah. I don't know how far the medication takes you and how far we need to take ourselves.
I don't know either.
I haven't figured it out. I wish I did know.
Yeah, me too.
Like you just said, it has helped, but to what extent?
Right.
And I'm not sure.
I'm not either.
Now, did you have a good connection with the first therapist you spoke with? Because a common theme I've seen with a lot of people I talk to is they went to a therapist, didn't have a connection, never went back. And other guys went to 1, went to 2, went to 3, and finally found one that worked for them.
I got lucky. The first one I really liked. And of course, as you know, the VA doctors come and go quick. I'm lucky she stayed. She's been there for 5 years and says she doesn't plan on leaving, which is nice. I got lucky.
I'm on my 4th.
Wow.
But I mean, that's over the past 10 or so years.
Yeah.
This last one I've had for a couple years now, and he just does telehealth.
So mine's telehealth too.
Yeah, I used to have to go in, which the place is only 5-10 minutes from my house, so it wasn't a big deal. But I like the telehealth. I just sit down and talk. The only thing I don't like is there's some other people making decisions on what he writes down, And I'm like, how can you make decision on what he writes down when this guy talks to me literally for like 20 minutes a year?
Yeah, that's the bad part about it.
Yeah. But I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, I'm doing horrible all the time. Sometimes I am.
Right.
Not. I mean, that's just the lives we live, the lives we chose, lives of service. What do you think when you did get home? What do you think surprised you the most about being back in the States? What was the biggest culture shock coming back?
The biggest one was, and it's, I don't know, nothing changed, if that makes sense. You come back and it's like life went on for everybody else. Nothing changed for them. And here you are. Everything's changed. Yeah. That's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much it changed me for a long time. I had people say, "You've really changed." I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm still me." I mean, but yeah, we do. And it's the vets that choose. It's what they choose to do with that change.
Yeah.
Some bucket and create a huge problem for themselves. There was one Marine that lived in the town I was a cop. I gave him 2 DUIs within a week, and he was a young guy. I gave him the first one. He was back from Iraq. I gave him the first one. I didn't want to, but I mean, he was loaded. And I talked to him. And I'm like, dude, come on, you need to get some help. I try to be the encourager, whatever. Like a week later, I'm like, oh, seriously. Baltimore, same thing. So I mean, I talked to our prosecutor, and I'm like, listen, this kid's got 2 coming up. I gave him 2 within a week. Here's his story a little bit. I said, I would rather you try to get him into some treatment than to like nab him with these DUIs. So
Like a diversion. Yeah.
I mean, because all that's doing is stacking up things, making life harder for him for the rest of his life. I mean,
Sure.
job to do, and depending on how close somebody is, I'll give you a ride home, or
Sure.
this was past that. I mean, it was past that. You definitely knew this wasn't one too many.
Yeah, he earned it.
Yeah, but I'm sure what he was doing was drinking away those memories.
Yeah. That's probably what I use for 15 years to sleep.
Yeah, for a long time, especially I got home on third shift, I would have those big moose cups, the big cups, big
Yeah.
cups. I would do Captain and Coke and have a couple of those and sleep until next afternoon, get up and go back to work.
Yep.
Between soldiers and cops, there is a lot of alcohol consumption.
A lot. Boy.
You know how Wisconsin is, but I thank God that he took that desire away from me. I mean, I used to always chase the next drink, especially when I got home too. It was bad, but again, that's another thing that's not healthy for trying to heal. I mean,
No.
you can't keep on dumping liquor down your throat and think things are going to get better. It's just not going to happen. All right, Dustin, well, I really enjoyed having you on today. It's been great getting to know a little bit about you, about your service, and about what you're doing now. I'm really glad to see that you understand what veterans and people with trauma go through, and that they do need to heal. They do need to talk about it. They do need to get help. So thank you so much for coming on the program. I really enjoyed our conversation, and thank you for your service.
Thanks for having me, Sam. I appreciate it.
Take care, Dustin, and I'll talk to you next time.
You too.
All right, Echo Nation, that's going to wrap this one up. I really appreciate Dustin coming on and telling his story and talking about a lot of stuff that most people won't. 2 tours in Iraq, law enforcement, and the reality that the fight doesn't always stop when you go home. If you caught anything in this conversation, I hope that you're not broken if you're struggling. You're human and not alone. A lot of us were trained to suck it up, drive on, and never say a word. Survival mode kept us alive over there. But if you bring that survival mode back to your marriage, your home, your job, it can start taking pieces of you. And if you've been carrying it for years, hear me now. Don't wait. Get help. If you're a veteran and you're struggling, dial 988 and then press 1 to talk to the Veteran Crisis Line. Turn this off and make the call. There's no shame in getting help. The shame is staying silent until it wins. Echoes Unfiltered exists for one reason: to bring this kind of thing into the light. If this episode helps even one person, then it's worth it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. And if you know somebody who needs to hear this, send it to them. If you want to know more about my story, from Ramadi to redemption, you can check out my book, Echoes from the Sandbox, now available on Amazon. And don't forget to check out my short form videos on Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. Like, subscribe, and follow along. Real talk, raw faith, stay unfiltered, and God bless.